Welcome to day 13 of your AWS tutorial, where we are moving ahead with DevOps journey and we are learning about the AWS cloud from the scratch. So what all we have covered till now? We have covered how to get started with your AWS cloud, how to set up your free AWS account. Also, we have talked about how to get started with your AWS EC2 instance and the different properties of the EC2 instances, including your elastic block storage, elastic IP addresses, private IP address, public IP address, your task-scaling groups, your launch template, load balancer, different kind of load balancer, and path-based routing. So till now we have completely covered the AWS EC2 instance. We have also covered the user data use case in AWS EC2 instance, which can be helpful for you to do the automation. So till now we have covered all these concepts. If you have not gone through all these videos, you can go up to these videos like up to day 12 and you can watch out all the complete content and you can directly come to the next AWS service, which is called as AWS IAM. So today we will be talking about the AWS IAM service. I will encourage you to go with all those contents and start your journey from the scratch, from the beginning itself, so that it will be easy for you to understand all the concepts. So in this particular video, we are starting our tutorial, our video with IAM service. IAM stands for Identity Access Management. So what is this service actually does? So this service is particularly used for the security purpose. Whenever you have to give certain permissions to different users, to different members of the organization, or to the different organization, you can create one IAM role. You can assign that IAM role to either a group, to either a user, or to a single member. Correct. So this particular service is used for the security. Let's move to the pointers. AWS Identity and Access Management. That's the full form of this particular service. What does it enables? It enables you to manage access to AWS service and resource securely. Correct. What does it create? It can create and manage AWS users and groups. Correct. It can attach. The permissions can be attached with this IAM role or with the IAM service and policies to the group users and role. What are the different types of the IAM? It's programmatic access or AWS management console. It might be that you don't understand from the points, correct? So these are the features of the IAM. We will do the demo part as well. I will go to the AWS console. I will explain it in more detail so that it will be easy for you to understand what are we talking about, correct? So let's move to the next slide that will give you more detail, that will make you more visualization kind of thing. It will be more easy for you to understand. So you can say there is a user block, there is a group block, then there is a roles block, and there is a green block which is called as policy. So what does the policy means? Policy means the kind of permission you want to give to certain number of users or certain number of groups or to certain number of roles. When we say the permission, we are talking about like if you are using any of the AWS service. So on that particular AWS service, either you will be having the read kind of permission. That means you can only see the content on that particular service. You won't be able to change anything. Now if you get the modify kind of access, you can do the modification, but you will not have complete privilege to do any kind of changes. So that means you will not be having the admin kind of stuff. So you will not be having the administration kind of stuff. So according to the permissions, according to the policies which will be attached to the users or to the groups or to the roles, you will be having those kind of limited permissions only, correct? Either delete, create, read, modify, that kind of access. These policies can be attached to us for a single user as well. It can be attached for a group as well, like for within a team, correct? There are dev group, there are within a project there is a development team, there is a operations team, there is a customer support team, or there is a particular user as well. So for a user you want a limited permission. You will create a one user. With that user you will attach the policies and the user will have those kind of access. For the development team or for the operations team, you created a group. Within this group there will be 10 users of that particular team, correct? And this group will have the certain kind of access. So whatever the access you will grant to the group, the same access will be granted to the all the users which are part of this group, correct? And then similarly goes for the roles. You create a role and that role will have certain policy attached, correct? So whatever the policies will be attached to roles, this role can perform only those kind of actions. So talking about the differences, correct? So what are the technical definitions of all these? IAM users, groups, roles and policy. IAM users, user created in AWS account, root user or IAM user. So root user is the one who has the all administration power for all the AWS accounts which are created within the root account, and the IAM user is the one which is created within a particular account. So let's say here I am on the console. So if I search for the IAM service here, you will see IAM will be here, IAM identity access and management. So this is the AWS service. So within this AWS service, I have the privilege to create, like right now I'm the owner of this particular account. I'm the root user, correct? Because I have this my personal account. So you can see I have this AWS account ID, and I can do the sign out, or I can get into the organization, correct? So you can see identity center management, I have that kind of access as well. Let me search IAM identity center, correct? From here you can see that I do have the AWS management account, management kind of access as well. I can get into the different AWS accounts. I can create the permission sets for the different AWS account what I do have, correct? So all those kind of actions I can perform AWS accounts here, correct? So you can see this is the root account. Within this root account, I have created DevOps demo within to the account in which I am working, DevOps demo, correct? So here I can either create, I can create a user. I will be clicking on the create user. I can create one user. I can attach the, like, just suppose that I want to create a demo user. So I will just click on the next. So this user already exists. So let me call it test user. Next. Then you have the options to attach the policy to this user. So any kind of access, like just suppose that I want to give the administrator access, so I will give this particular access. What are the all the actions this administrator has? It has all the actions. A start, that means all the actions. On which resources? On all resources. A star, that means on all, correct? A star represents your all. So that kind of action permission you can give to any user. Or if you want any read access only, so you can see there are only limited read access, like just suppose for this ACR, and I just want to give the registry read only access. So get authorization token, get repository policy. So you can see most of the things are kind of get. See, with this particular policy, either it can list down the things, it can get the details, but it cannot do any kind of modification, correct? So you can see the policy. So the things which are there here, version, state event, effect, action, this is called as policy or the permission sets. And then the user, what we are going to create within this user block, correct? You can see there are few users. So let me get into here. You might see few users, cancel, sorry, continue. So you can see there are two users named as the demo. These are the policies which I have attached to this demo user. Then you can create role. You can see the different roles here as well. Demo role, correct? So within the demo role, I have attached a one policy with the S3 full access. So this is a kind of policy. This is the kind of role, demo role. This role has this particular policy permission, correct? Then you can create the policies. Then you can create groups as well. So if you want to create group, you will just give a name to this group. So you can say the test group. Then you can add the user. So if you want to add multiple user, you can select it from here. Or if you want a particular user, you can select all those. Then which kind of policy you want to attach with this particular group, you will be selecting that, and you will click on the create user group. Your user group will be created. So these are the things from the AWS console perspective as well. We have seen that. So what is IAM users? User created in AWS account, that we have already seen. IAM groups, it's a collection of IAM users, correct? You might have already seen here. So in the group you can add multiple users, correct? Then what are the roles? It's temporary identities. It does not have credentials attached, expires after a set period of time. So whatever the time period you will be attaching with this particular role, it will be available for that particular time duration. The policies, it defines the permissions. So as you can see in the policy, what kind of actions can be performed, it describes all those things, correct? So if I get into the user sections here, if you see, for the demo user, I have the certain limit, certain permissions. So I have this KMS inline policy, then AWS Lambda full access. So this kind of permissions it can be this user can perform with this particular policy. So one more difference, you if you see what I have mentioned here in the PPT as well. So policies are of two type, either AWS managed policy or the customer managed policy. What is the difference between these two? Here is PC. These are labeled as AWS symbols as well, and type is AWS managed. What does that mean? All these policies are created by AWS itself, correct? But the policy what I will be creating here, that will be called as customer inline policy, and I can do the edit kind of thing, correct? Whatever the changes I have to do, I can do. So if you see here as well, here in the IAM full access you don't have any options to edit. You do have only copy JSON, while if I have created the policy, I do have the option to edit as well. So this policy will be managed by me, correct? It's the customer inline policy. So that's the difference between the policy, AWS managed policy and customer inline policy. And for example, here also you can see the same thing. And in the IAM role, if you see the important thing, or from the user sections as from the user perspective as well, you will see there is a permission boundary. So what does this permission boundary means? It sets a permission boundary to control the maximum permission for this user. So for this particular user, or for any particular role, here also you will see the permission boundary. If I get into any role, you will see the permission boundary. What does that means? In the user perspective or in the role perspective, it simply means that you will be assigning certain kind of permissions to this different users or to this different roles. But if you want that this particular user or this particular role should have only limited access, it should not go up to the uh, up to those services which you don't want to allow, correct? So that kind of permission boundary you can select, you can configure from here. Permission boundary to control the maximum permission this role can have. So if you set anything over here, so anyway if you allow that policy from here, it will not be allowed, correct? Because it has the permission boundary set. So this is all the concept from your IAM service, from the IAM perspective. Here is identity access management, your different users, groups and the roles. Then you have some different kind of policies you can create, AWS managed, your customer managed, correct? And then there is a trust relationship, there is a permission and the revoke sessions. You can see with your role there is a revoke session as well, maximum session duration 1 hour, and after that it will be signed out, correct? So and here in the trust relationship you can see that which kind of role or which role can assume this role and it can work. So this is all I wanted to cover from the IAM perspective in this video. Stay tuned for next coming videos on the AWS BPC side and on the different topic. And if you like this content, you can subscribe to the channel, and you will be getting the more content on this particular channel only. So till the time, let's meet in the next video. Till the time, thank you. Bye bye. The channel, and in this video we are going to learn about how to create an IAM user and give the different permissions according to the requirement to the user, and that user credentials can be shared with the different team, or you can utilize it while developing your code to establish the communication between one service to another service. So let's see how can we create one IAM user, and we can attach the different permissions to that particular user. So just suppose that we are on this AWS cloud. You might have your AWS cloud account or your organization account. There you just search for the IAM, that's your identity access management, that's the service. And here you will see in the left side there is an option called users. On the users options you will be clicking on the create user. Here you just need to pass the username. So just suppose I'm just giving a one name called as test. Here now you will be clicking on the next. Once you click on the next, you do have the multiple options, either add user to group. If you have created any group, you can add this user to group. When we say the group, that means just suppose that you have three different teams: dev team, your operations team, and your DevOps team. So you might create the three different groups, and in three different groups you can add multiple users, correct? Or if you want to just copy the permissions from any existing user, you can just copy that as well. Like if I have to copy all the permissions which my demo user has, for this test user, I can copy that. Or if you want to create the fresh permissions policy, you can create that as well. So here we do have the option to attach policies directly. Just suppose that to the user of test which we are creating, I just want to give the database full access. So for that I will just search RDS, and here if you see we do have the option RDS full access. I will be just selecting this. Now if I have to give the S3 related permissions as well, so I will be selecting S3, and you will see the second option Amazon S3 full access. That's your AWS managed policy as well. So here I have selected the second one as well. Now just click on next, and you will see that two permissions has been attached here. Now even we are left out to create this user, but you can see there two permissions are attached here: Amazon RDS full access, Amazon S3 full access. If you want to pass any tag here, you can just pass, or anyway it's optional, so you can just go without it. Now click on the create user. Your user has been created, correct? So if you see here, your test user is there, correct? Now you have to utilize this test user, correct? If you are developing your any API, or if you are trying to access this any AWS services through this user, so to get the access up to this user, you will require the credentials, correct? So here you can see the option security credentials. Get into the security credentials. There is an option called as access key. Click on the create access key. Here you do have to pass the use case. Why do you want to create the credentials? Either you are developing your code locally and you want to test, or you want to run AWS CLI commands, or if you are going with any third party service, Grafana or any other applications tool, correct? Third party service. Just suppose that I am going with the local code, so I will be selecting the local code. I understand the above recommendation. That's your confirmation. You will just acknowledge this, click on the next. Then you will pass any optional value here, description. Just I'm saying that I'm creating for the demo. So click on the create access key. And now if you see, one access key has been created over here. So that is, this one is your access key, and second access key is one time fetchable, correct? You can see the value only one time. I will be clicking on the show, you will see the value. Once it is you should copy, and you should keep it in your notes or somewhere from where you can fetch it for the second time, correct? Because it will be only one time visible, so next time you won't be able to do. So either you can download the CSV file and you will can see the access key and secret key access key anytime, or you just want you just can copy and you can put it. Click on the done, and here your access key and secret access key has been generated. This access key and secret access key which you copied in the last step, that you can utilize to run your AWS CLI commands, or to run any your local code which you have developed on your VS Code, Visual Studio Code, correct? So this is how you can utilize the credentials of the IAM user as well. Now the next thing, if you want to set any permission boundary, correct? Here is the option. What is that permission boundary? If you go with the line which is definition here, set a permission boundary to control the maximum permission for this user, correct? So what maximum permission you want to provide to this user, that permission boundary you can select. So if you mention something over here that the user can get the maximum user up to this, so that kind of permission you can set. The user cannot get the access beyond that. So that kind of boundary you can create over here. If you want to check the access related details, like when this test user credential was used, you can check all the details in the last access. So this is the concept what I wanted to talk about. How can you create your IAM users in the AWS console, and you can utilize it for the local development or for any other users. So in the next video we'll be talking about another topic, and till the time watch the video and stay tuned with the channel as well, and subscribe to the channel for more technical content. Till the time, thank you, bye bye.